Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials R, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And guess what? You have paid me to error correct one of your essays, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. This is what I call a live demonstration, specifically for you, so you can see what changes you need to make in order to make this essay score higher than it is. Now, I'm going to put you right now, if we look at the rubrics here, you have a fairly decent organization. You have a lot of details in there, but you just have an enormous number of problems with either word choice, sentence structure, and so on, that are making it difficult for this essay to score high. So my best guess here, I think you have numerous problems with inappropriate word choice or word forms, a large number of errors in sentence structure and or usage. So I'm going to put you right now at about 2.5 out of 5, which probably puts you about 17 points out of 30. Now the question is, what does it take? I mean, how do you get to the next level here? So as I go through your essay, I will make corrections. I'm also going to take some notes. Okay, so let's take a look at your first paragraph. And you might want to take down some notes too. I'll give you some key ideas, things that you can do. So in the very first one, you say, at everywhere there are some common habits that distinguish a human's behavior and are related directly to their daily lives, activities, and interests. I think you're a little bit wordy here. I'm going to start off by saying this. Common habits, don't even need this. Distinguish, so this is called being more concise. Write this down. Okay, so distinguish humans' behaviors and are directly related to, I'm going to say this, to the activities and interests in their daily lives. Let's get to our next sentence here. So people, this is called subject-verb agreement. So people usually, you want to say here have, not has. People usually have habits, how about, let's say this. People usually follow many habits. Give you some sentence variety. One of the most familiar of which, don't even need to say that, the most familiar of which is eating. Let me make sure we have it here. So again, being more concise. So people usually follow many habits, the most familiar of which is eating. And then you're kind of restating the question. Even though some people prefer to eat at home, others prefer to eat at restaurants or food stands. To tie these together, you might say, in this respect, now it looks like you're using this as a quote, right? So if you want to use this as a quote, then do it like that. So actually my friends asked me, do you have any preference would say so do you have any preference of where, how about this? Let's make it simple here. Then maybe if you use it as a quote like that, so then you can say, actually my friends asked me, do you have any preference of where you like to eat? Maybe say something like this. I tell them that I usually go to my neighborhood's restaurant for some things engraved in my memories. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. So if we look at this, what we have to do is make sure that you're using the appropriate word choice that really accurately communicates your idea. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm looking at what you're saying here and then checking with what you're saying in this first body paragraph to make sure I'm understanding what you're trying to say. So it looks like you're saying that you like just the thought of the construction of a magnificent building for a restaurant is something that you like, right? So you're saying that you have something engraved in your memory. We have to do something with this, make this a little more clearly stated here. I think this is kind of what you're trying to say, I think, right? So I tell them I usually go to my neighborhood's restaurant since I was able to witness its magnificent construction and can now enjoy its structural beauty. Also, I prefer going to a restaurant not only to save time, good parallel structure by the way, but also to enjoy spending time with my friends. Okay, I think we got it. So now we need to make sure that we have this second paragraph is clearly connected to what you said in the beginning. Alright, so you say, first, my memory recorded many events and notes have many specific details which I join with proud to see the construction of the building of the new restaurant. You need to make this a little more simple, I think. you can say something like maybe now stand in awe of its architectural beauty. This kind of ties back to what we're saying here. So you're able to witness its construction and you can now enjoy its structural beauty. Then we get to your detail here, right? How about this? The first day of building the new restaurant. Probably not just say in neighborhood because we already said that. How about is engraved in my memory? The big excavator, you want to use here, I think, past tense. Came to a vacant lot beside my home, and I saw many workers. But many workers, I saw many workers suffer fatigue to build the new restaurant. I cannot forget that day because I expected that my street, you want to use here would, talking about the past. So let me write this down. So verb, tense, shifts, you got to study that a little bit. And you want to use here effect as a verb, not as a noun. So that's a word choice issue. So I cannot forget that day because I expected that my street would be affected badly. But the opposite happened. So we probably have to explain this idea in a little bit more detail here. I think because we're introducing this for the first time, you can probably say this. First, I enjoy eating out at my neighborhood's restaurant because I was able to witness its construction and now stand in awe of its architectural beauty. The first day of building the restaurant is engraved in my memory. A big excavator came to a vacant lot beside my home. I saw many workers suffer fatigue as they started to build the new restaurant. I could not forget that day because I expected that my street would be affected badly. But the opposite happened. We can say the restaurant's exquisite architecture increased the value of my and other neighbors' homes. might say, since it was maybe an upscale restaurant, you might say something like this. So I'm going to say here, I tried one see-through, I found how it was exquisite. We're trying to stay focused on this idea, the construction of it, not on how the food is or whatever. To me, that's a whole nother idea that you can probably bring up in a different paragraph. So I'm going to probably get rid of this. So you're talking about how impressive and inspiring it is, but you didn't give really any specific description of the restaurant, so you probably have to do a little bit more there. Let's say too large. So on the outside of the front of the restaurant, 2 large brick columns. Let's say is adorned with clear glass windows. So we have here the restaurant is adorned with clear glass windows. So the restaurant is adorned with clear glass windows reflecting a beautifully landscaped How about containing tropical trees and bushes with a So all I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to support this statement. You're saying how you like the architecture, you like the construction, but you didn't really describe that at all. So this is kind of difficult. If you don't like doing what I'm doing right now and using all this description, then change the topic to another idea. Because it requires a lot of specific vocabulary to be able to do this. You might want to say, in fact, I feel inspired every time I go there to eat. We're going to take this idea I want to use passive voice here. Write this down. Okay, so in fact I feel inspired every time I go there to eat, and when the construction of this beautiful restaurant was finished, I went to I'm going to say congratulate here. I think that's a better word. I went to congratulate the owner. I felt with happiness Okay, let's say maybe this expresses what you're trying to say. I went to congratulate the owner because I felt happy and proud that the owner was able to design such an amazing feat. Alright, let's check the paragraph one more time, make sure we're And what are we doing here? I'm putting this in there in the beginning first. Instead of eating at home, I enjoy eating out at my neighborhood's restaurant because I was able to witness its construction and so on. So I'm using this idea here because this goes back to eating food at home as opposed to preparing. Eating food at home versus eating food at restaurants and stands and so on, right? So then once we get to the next idea, I think we need to connect this a little bit better too. But let's go back to this paragraph. So first, instead of eating at home, I enjoy eating out at my neighborhood's restaurant because I was able to witness its construction and now stand in awe of its architectural beauty. The first day of building the restaurant is engraved in my memory. A big excavator came to a vacant lot beside my home, and I saw many workers suffer fatigue as they started to build the new restaurant. I can't forget that day because I expected that my street would be affected badly, but the opposite happened. The restaurant's exquisite architecture increased the value of my and other neighbors' homes. And since it was an upscale restaurant, high quality people started to frequent the new establishment. On the outside of the front of the restaurant, 2 large brick columns are located on the left and right sides. The restaurant is adorned with clear glass windows reflecting a beautifully landscaped lot containing tropical trees and bushes with a splashing fountain in the middle. So I could go on, and there's never ending, but there's no way that I can completely describe this restaurant. It would take me, and I don't know which restaurant you're talking about. If I tried to describe it, it would take me several pages. So I'm just giving some description to show I can back up the idea of why the architecture is so exquisite. So the restaurant is adorned with clear glass windows reflecting a beautifully landscaped lot containing tropical trees and bushes with a splashing fountain in the middle. In fact, I feel inspired every time I go there to eat, and when the construction of this beautiful restaurant was finished, I went to congratulate the owner because I felt happy and proud that the owner was able to decide such an amazing feat. Now this next paragraph, this is what's called a coherence issue. You start off with, I know many persons who like to stand in their kitchen to prepare their fresh meals. Right? You're stating more of a fact. But how does this relate to eating out at restaurants, right? So if we keep reading here, and we look at your thesis here, you save time, and you can spend time with friends, am I right? So you have to make sure in the beginning here that you frame it that way. I'm going to say, I also prefer to eat at restaurants because I can save time and so if you say this, what we're doing here is framing your paragraph, or giving your paragraph a topic sentence. The topic sentence directly connects back to what you've already set up here. So then, let's see how this works. So second, I also prefer to eat at restaurants because I can save time and have the opportunity to spend time with my friends. You say, I know many. I'll probably say here, people who like to stand in their kitchens I know many people like to stand in their kitchens to, I'm going to put here an infinitive, to prepare their fresh meals. Let me write this down. To prepare their fresh meals. However, I usually don't like to stand. Use here in the kitchen, so this is what we call prepositions. So I usually don't like to stand in the kitchen to prepare any meal. Or even, I'm going to put here, because you're using the word or, which is a conjunction, so you need to balance this out. It's called parallelism. So then you say, I don't like to stand in the kitchen to prepare a meal, or even to warm a plate to eat. Say, even though I like very tasty meals, let me make some notes here. So 7, I'm going to put parallelism is another thing you can take a look at after you're done with this video. Even though I like very tasty meals, this is actually correct. So my trying, you're using what's called a pronoun, a possessive adjective plus a gerund. So my trying to prepare food will waste a lot of time. So on the other hand, you can say saving time is not only the most attractive thing, it's one of the most attractive things about going to a restaurant, we got to work on this. Again, this is a parallelism, parallel structure issue. Okay, what we want to do here is to figure out this. We have what's called not only but also. So first of all, this idea here, this conjunction is parallel with this paired conjunction here, right? But then you also have saving time, which is a gerund, but then you have to spend as an infinitive. I'm going to change this to a gerund. See if this works. On the other hand, saving time is not only the most attractive thing about going to a restaurant, but also spending an amazing time with my close friends. I like to spend my time of having meals with others, especially when I join an extraneous person not in my home. See, I don't know what you're trying to say there. I'm just guessing here. I'm going to say sociable. I like to spend my time having meals with others, especially when I join a sociable person not in my home. The consequence of spending time outdoors is more advantageous than spending it indoors. In addition, they say that. So the consequence of spending time outdoors is more advantageous than spending it indoors, and my neighborhood restaurant offers patrons the chance to eat outside. So you have to say something like that so that it connects back to kind of what you're trying to argue there. Alright, so here we have an addition at my preferred restaurant. How about this? Get rid of the word at. Now we have our subject here. My preferred restaurant. I'm going to state simple present here because it's still like that now, right? So, my preferred restaurant is adorned with decorations and magnificent paintings, which of course, I'm going to say because paintings is plural, decorations is plural, you're saying that the decorations and the paintings, you want to use this plural here, impress, not impresses me. So impresses is singular. So because which refers to a plural noun, you want to use what's called a plural verb there, which impressed me deeply. Sum up. The new restaurant in my neighborhood is so impressive to spend a good time there. I wish might want to say eating there saves my time, which I would lose if I prepared my meals. So here you're talking here about hypotheticals. So eating there saves my time, which I would lose if I prepared my meals. I do that for another reason, that is, using the kitchen is not preferred. You might say this. Okay, but I don't know if this is going to work, because when you do the conclusion, the purpose of your conclusion is more or less to tie up your loose ends, right? So you're trying to tie up two things. Is you like the construction of the restaurants, and maybe that's why you might say, you might want to say the new restaurant in the neighborhood is so architecturally impressive to spend a good time there. Moreover, eating there saves my time, which I would lose if I prepared my meals, and I do not particularly like cooking in my own kitchen. Alright, let's take a look at it one more time. And I think what we're doing now is we're trying to take this essay and move it to a higher level, so I think your essay would score much higher with the editing changes that I suggested in this video. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's see how many words we have first. So you didn't have any problems with that. You had enough development in there already, right? So we're 542 words. That is plenty long enough for the independent writing of the TOEFL. Honestly, you need to get maybe closer to 350 words in 30 minutes, and that's fine. So you might want to spend time when you do your next one. Try not to write quite as many words, and then that might give you more time to do some editing when you get to the end of your writing. Okay, let's take a look at each paragraph now. Common habits distinguish the human's behavior. I'm going to say humans, plural possessive word there, humans' behaviors, and are directly related to the activities and interests in their daily lives. People usually follow many habits, the most familiar of which is eating. In this respect, even though some prefer to eat at home, others prefer to eat at restaurants or food stands. Actually, my friends ask me, do you have any preference of where you like to eat? I tell them I usually go to my neighborhood's restaurant since I was able to witness its magnificent construction and can now enjoy its structural beauty. I also prefer going to a restaurant not only to save time, but also to enjoy spending time with my friends. First, instead of eating at home, I enjoy eating out at my neighborhood's restaurant because I was able to witness its construction and now stand in awe of its architectural beauty. So the first day of building the restaurant is engraved in my memory. A big excavator, and good word by the way, a big excavator came to a vacant lot beside my home, and I saw many workers suffer fatigue as they started to build the new restaurant. I cannot forget that day because I expected that my street would be affected badly, but the opposite happened. The restaurant's exquisite architecture increased the value of my and other neighbors' homes, and since it was an upscale restaurant, high-quality people started to frequent the new establishment. On the outside of the front of the restaurant, 2 large brick columns are located on the front and left sides. The restaurant is adorned with clear glass windows reflecting a beautifully landscaped lot containing tropical trees and bushes with a splashing fountain in the middle. In fact, I feel inspired every time I go there to eat, and when the construction of this beautiful restaurant was finished, I went to congratulate the owner because I felt happy and proud that the owner was able to design such an amazing feat. Okay, our next paragraph. I also prefer to eat at restaurants because I can save time and have the opportunity to spend time with my friends. I know many people like to stand in their kitchens to prepare their fresh meals. However, I usually do not like to stand in the kitchen to prepare a meal, even to warm a plate to eat. Even though I like tasty meals, my trying to prepare food will waste a lot of time. And by the way, I got to tell you here, I've not eaten lunch yet. I'm reading this. You're making me hungry. No joke. I'm getting seriously hungry here just reading your essay. It says, even though I like very tasty meals, I'm trying to prepare food, or my trying to prepare food will waste a lot of time. Again, that was excellent grammar you're using there. On the other hand, saving time is not only the most attractive thing about going to a restaurant, but also spending an amazing time with my close friends. I like to spend my time of having meals with others, especially when I join a sociable person not in my home. The consequence of spending time outdoors is more advantageous than spending it indoors, and my neighborhood restaurant offers patrons the chance to eat outside. In addition, my preferred restaurant is adorned with decorations and magnificent paintings, which of course impress me deeply. To sum up, the new restaurant in my neighborhood is so architecturally impressive to spend a good time there with my friends. I'm going to put here, that's a parallel structure problem. It's so architecturally impressive that I can. So didn't see that. Now remember, at the end of this video, if anybody's watching this at YouTube, there is no way I'm going to be able to find every single problem in this essay, but what I'm trying to do here generally in this live demonstration is to point out what kinds of changes that you can make the student to make the essay better than it is. So you say, to sum up, the new restaurant in my neighborhood is so architecturally impressive that I can spend a good time there with my friends. Moreover, eating there saves my time, which I would lose if I prepared my meals, and I do not particularly like cooking in my own kitchen. Now the question is, because your essay is scoring about 2.5 out of 5 or 17 points out of 30, the question is, what specific lessons in my online TOEFL course can you focus on in order to improve your language use in your writing right now? That's the goal we want to do right now, okay? So let me go to the grammar part of my course, but maybe in the writing section, let me see which one. I think you can do a little bit better with, you remember the one paragraph I had to rewrite your topic sentence, I think? Which one was it? Let me go back here. It was this second one, this one. I had to rewrite this topic sentence so it was more clearly framed around, I think, the thesis. So, and before I forget about all the spelling errors here, let me go ahead and spell check this quickly. So here we go. So I'm going to change some of the spelling problems. So you got to change that to 2 words: restaurants, friends, kitchen. Moreover, change that spelling. Okay, I think we're pretty good there. And let's go back. So in order to make this better, to understand what I did there, you can check out, where is it, here, lesson number 8, how to make your writing more coherent, and take a look at one of the tips in the lesson. It talks about repeating and rephrasing key terms. I think you should study that, learn from that, and make sure that your topic sentences in the body paragraphs do exactly that. You repeat or rephrase key ideas from your thesis in order to make the connection of ideas more clear. You see what we're saying? Now let's go to the grammar part of my course and see what things that you need to focus on here. Okay, now we're in the grammar part of my course, and I'm going to make some recommendations right now for you. So let's take a look at some things that you can improve on. I think lesson number 6, using sentences with adjective clauses. This is an area I think you can improve on. The next one is word forms. Lesson number 12, I think you can definitely improve there. Big time. Parallel structure. Also word choice. So 12, 13, 14, I think word forms, word choice, parallel structure. Verb tenses, lesson 17 is important for you. I think you also had problems with passive verbs, also prepositions, subject-verb agreement. Gerunds and infinitives is also something that you can work on. This is a major problem right now, being more concise, lesson number 27. And I think that's it. So if you take a look at those lessons, some of those specific lessons are based on the problems you're having in your writing right now. And that's it. Anyway, thank you for submitting me your practice test for today. And there you go. So basically I took your essay, which is 2.5 out of 5. I rewrote it to show you how you can get that to pretty much the highest score on the writing, to 5.0 out of 5 or 30 points out of 30.